Hello, everyone. Carlos here. I know everyone's doing a hangout. Everyone, because of the British elections, they're more important than than what I'm doing now. But I promised my subscribers I would be doing the 1,000 celebratory um, hangout to thank you all and the guest which I would like to have had who's got me the boost from 260 odd subscribers to over 1,000. He can't make it. Obviously, he's doing his stream himself, but he knows I appreciate what he did, and it's fine. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm saving a really good special episode for Monday of What's Up in Archaeology. This is not What's Up in Archaeology. I'll rename it. It's a 1,000 celebratory question and answers. If anyone appears in the chat, I will be doing answering questions. If not, I'm fine with that. There are plenty of time. Yeah, let's see. Better like this so people know that I'm actually transmitting. So yeah. What am I going to talk about today? Well, this little article here. I'm going to share screen. It's about Neanderthals. You guys know Neanderthals are my favorite hominin, our cousins, a race of humans. Hello, Archaeonomy. Thanks, man, for the cheers up. So I'm going to share the screen, and we can discuss just a small article. Most important is just people saying hello, and if you have any questions and shit. Am I getting through though? Archaeonomy, am I getting through? Let me just check my other questions. Yep, I'm getting through. Weird. Okay. That should be better, I think, but I'm getting through. Anyway, Neanderthals, whatever evidence is there for their burials. Well, this is an article. It's a little PDF I just downloaded. You might need to adjust. Let's see. I have it. It can go to HD, so the pic should be better. Maybe it's your connection, Archaeonomy. Hello, Tablecon. Yeah, I'm having, just so you guys know, I'm having a Guinness special export beer stout. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. Now, I'm going to increase the magnification a bit too much. Oh God, can't be any better. If I make it 50%, it's too wide, I think. Let me have a look. Oh, yeah, it's a bit too wide. Put it back to normal. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, my sound worked. Hey, Carlos.
Oh, come on. This is unacceptable. Windows, why you do this to me?
Hello, Carlos.
Oh, hi, Carlos.
Oh, that's it. I think that's the best I can do. I can't. It's a PDF, so stupid thing won't increase too much. Let's see if I can do it here.
I'll join from my other
Ooh,
channel.
shit,
1 sec.
much, no. The magnification doesn't work on PDFs. So, g'day guys. Hi Tigerson. Hi Table Connoisseur, Robert Gallagher, and Warped. Hello, Warped. Yeah, I know, Warped. I picked the most shittiest day to do a stream. But fuck it. It's okay.
Hello again.
It's good for pissup. None of you are obliged to obviously state. As soon as I get through this article, if none of my guests that I've sent invites here.
I don't think so. I can hear you, but Carlos can't. Apparently can't.
We'll go and watch Sargon stream or Robin stream. What's his name?
Carlos.
The open house with Robin and some other people will probably do live streams on the British elections.
Does anybody have the link?
So don't bloody vote for the communists, you cunts. If you want to vote for communists, at least get Kim Jong-un to get to run for the British Parliament.
Hey, can you hear me?
He's
I can hear you. I don't think Carlos can.
A nationalist. He's a communist nationalist. That's quite interesting.
I'm just trying desperately to tweet him to tell him that he's deaf to us.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Thomas. Anyway, let's get it ready. Neanderthal behavior is one of the most discussed topics in paleoanthropology.
Hi, base mama, anyway.
Yeah. Hey, Mama.
Hey.
Largely extensive
I have an idea. We'll mute him. That might work.
I think that's what I said. And proximity to anatomical modern humans, both.
Oh, that worked. I think that once we all mute him, he'll realize that something is wrong. We've taken over the stream.
Whatever works.
So how's everybody?
I'm doing fine. I'm actually doing fine.
Welcome to your stream, Carlos. We're just going to talk over you until you figure it out.
Just cooking some dinner. I don't know.
That's so mean. I'm such an asshole. Is there any way we can ping him without him seeing it in the chat?
I've twittered him, so I kind of hope you'll catch that.
I did as well and typed it into the chat. So that's funny.
I don't know. I've never tried before that the host doesn't actually realize that the guests have arrived.
Well, he's on a roll. Maybe I should unmute him. I'm sure he says. Does anybody have the YouTube link? I just want to check what the.
I'm finding it now.
That'd be good because we could just make a poll to the chat. Do you want to listen to us or do you want to listen to Carlos? Oh wait, I have to find.
Yeah, chat. If you want to us or if you want Carlos, press 1 or 2.
Well, there's no point. I can't see the chat yet. Or can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay. Can you paste the link to the in the Hangout chat, Mama?
Oh, I'm not in the Hangout chat. I'm on my tablet, so.
Yeah, same here. That's the problem.
I will tweet it at you.
Okay. Shit, I don't know how to unmute.
Yes, unmute himself.
Carlos.
We have totally destroyed Carlos' stream.
Oh. Thanks.
This is
Fucking
really
German
sad,
man, you're always taking over shit.
This is really sad, actually. I love it.
Now we're supposed to be doing looking at this. What evidence is there for Neanderthal burial? I would I want to know, but he can't hear us. This is such a drag. Like we're gonna have to start it all over again.
Seriously, I have never experienced anything like this. It's hilarious. Carlos!
Oh, Lordy.
It's my fault.
What did you do, Raven?
I muted him. Just as a
But
joke.
but he couldn't hear us, but we
I
could hear
know.
him.
Yes.
Oh God, this is
Yeah, I
such a
thought that
mess.
he'd cop on if he's muted, but he didn't.
Oh, poor Carlos.
He will eventually. He will when he has 2,000 subscribers at the end of the stream. Your best stream ever. We didn't hear anything you said, but it was your best stream ever.
Yes, I know.
And no talk about archaeology or Portugal.
It was just three weird people we didn't know just chatting about weird shit. I love it.
But see, I'm gonna miss my opportunity to trigger Carlos into giving the race as a social construct speech. It's like my favorite thing.
I'm sure he will realize it eventually.
Hopefully.
Eventually.
Lots of shit on the general election on Mainz, tons. I was shilling a lot of shit, you know.
Oh yeah, how's it
I'm not
going?
sure.
I wonder.
Lib Dems. Somebody said you can still vote for Lib Dems. Liberal Democrats, even though the votes won't be counted. But I would say don't vote for any of the other two. It's all shit.
I don't think any of us here are actually British enough to be able to vote for any of them.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit far away. I was hoping my mum could. She's in Wales, but I'd have to go. I know. I mean, I could go over with the ferry, but they wouldn't give me a vote anyway. I'm too close to the Irish. Let me ping Carlos again. Carlos, you have to unmute. Mute yourself.
This is the funnest thing ever. Hey, Carlos.
Carlos!
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, can you hear us?
Perfectly. Oh God.
You were talking over us, so I muted you.
Well, yeah, but it's not that. It's my microphone that must be. Well, my connection, PC connection, just fucked up. I couldn't hear you. Then I jiggled the connection. So we're not going to talk about archaeology. We're just going to fucking talk about anything you guys want. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trigger you. It's your stream.
I don't get triggered. No. It's a technical problems.
Dude, I wanted to hear about Neanderthals. Don't stop talking about it now.
No, well, we can.
Yeah,
Let's see.
You shared an article with man cheese on it.
Let me see if I can do the if I can still. God, what is
At
it?
least it's her. I thought, why are you sharing an article with man cheese?
With what?
Man cheese.
What's that?
It's she's a feminist. She's loopy and she's using this black mouse as a avatar, and it was on your screen when you shared the screen. I thought, oh, that's man cheese. She's not a cat lady. She's a mouse lady. She has basically wild mice in her apartment. You know, that kind of run everywhere.
You mean this one?
And that's her.
I can. This is weird. I have my two connections on two.
Yeah, on the bottom right, that little mouse.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, man cheese.
Oh, this one. Well, no, this is actually a mouse. In fact, it's a Meriones persicus. Figure two. How many people did I lose? Bugger it, I don't care. That people will understand.
Oh, this thing has just gone straight to hell. So just carry on.
I mean, my new subscribers. Oh, 12 people are watching. So everyone, can you guys hear me now from the stream, from the chat?
I think the chat can hear you. That's what they say anyway. This is a good stream.
Okay.
This is a good stream evening. Us, Jeff Holiday, Rin has Magog, Kay has Misa, and yet we have as many viewers as all of them. Well, maybe not Jeff. Maybe not Jeff Holiday for very long, but you know,
Jeff,
let's not quit.
Yeah.
Tim, you shouldn't have said that. Now they're all gonna go on Jeff Holiday.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's okay. They will. They will.
Anyway. A bad decision there.
Anyway, I'm going to continue reading about the Neanderthal rituals that they did. So, where was I?
Oh, Jesus! All right.
Let's see. Many convict Neanderthals of gross mental incompetence. No, there's a source here, 15519. It should be in the bottom. Reducing them to little more than stereotypical cavemen. However, with increased research, Neanderthals are progressively being viewed as essentially human. They are human. That's been settled. And paleoanthropologists studying, casting them into a sympathetic light and highlight their fucking humanity. It's not supposed humanity, it is humanity. Culture. I was going to talk about culture before I was muted. What is culture? Culture is anything you can that is not biological that you can pass on to your offspring. That's culture. What you learn, what you speak, what you eat, how you eat. That is everything. It encompasses everything that is not biological, and it's not. I've said before, it's not strictly. It's not ours only. You have culture in dolphins. You have culture in other of all the other primates, especially the big apes, the large apes. There, but chimpanzees, baboons, not chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and gibbons. They have culture, each one of them. And you can even find that in some other animals, like this really smart parrot in New Zealand. I can't remember the name. And they have learned to they transmit how to get food to easy food and so on, stuff like that. That's what culture is. So,
Cool.
yeah. So that's one thing that this is slightly
That's what
not
bees do as
sympathetic,
well.
but what bees? No, not
Bees,
really.
they tell each other where there's good food. You know, they have a language.
But
and
that's
then they-
that's yeah, but that's genetically ingrained in them. They can't modify that at all. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I'll give you an
yeah,
example.
they don't.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. The macaques of Japan, they were always fed. They were put into an island for touristy things and that, and the biologists to track them would throw them grains. Initially, the macaques would individually pick the grains and eat them until one smart female, about in the 60s. This is off from my memory, in the 60s or 50s or 70s. I can't remember the decade. Started to grab a handful of sand and seeds, go to the water, drop it in, and pick up the handfuls of the seeds, washed and salted. She transmitted that to her offspring.
Cool.
And some other individuals, especially the younger ones, the younger teenage macaques, said, "Oh, she's doing something new." That's what I'm imagining. So they copied her. That is a learning thing and transmitting to offspring, next generation.
Cool.
That is what culture is. Yeah. So that is an example
And that was macaques, was it?
Yes, the macaques from Japan.
We are the people who put the keks into macaques.
Most likely, yes. So, shall we continue? The supposed humanity. While these interpretations are extreme, they have had a significant impact on opinion concerning Neanderthal burial. As Petit explained, number two, the potential evidence for Neanderthal burials have been interpreted widely, with a number of estimated sites ranging from 0 to 60. That is one hell of a variation. No sites to 60. Yep. Well, so I will attempt to cast a critical eye on the literature assessing whether the sites most often cited as burials are described as such. Will argue that the criteria classify deliberate burials or wholly unnecessary, which criteria overemphasize rituals aspect associated with contemporary humans, leading to the exclusion of burials which would otherwise be accepted. Instead of definition of burials and the corresponding evidence, this is fucking boring. Did Neanderthals place? I know. I said it. Of course, it's boring. Archaeology, reading some of the archaeological papers and articles, they get to a point where they pick so much detail that they become boring. Did Neanderthals place their dead in the ground? Yes, we know that. And let's see if she, whatever, gives examples. Let's see, number one here. Where's in La Ferresi suggests they did. So one of the most famous sites in Neanderthal archaeological sites, La Ferresi cave in the Bourgogne region of France, suggests they did. There were two individuals. They were discovered in the French rock shelter, showing extraordinary preservation despite being deposited in an area occupied by a number of fauna, suggesting the bodies had been deliberately protected. That's one aspect. Furthermore, in Ferresi 1, a group comprising of a child and two neonates, neonates are stillborn children or very young, they were found seemingly artificial depression, so they made the actual ground. They placed them lying parallel to each other, orientated with an orientation with signifying intention, right? They didn't just dump them in; they actually placed them. That means that they practiced, that they intentionally buried them. So they just didn't throw them away.
You know what? You're not presenting the screen.
I'm not.
You have to present the article that you're looking at, so it'll probably help people understand.
See, yeah, I better emphasize Mark.
You need to click
Here
on
we go.
yourself.
Yeah, I did. It should be now better. Yeah, should be. Sorry about that,
I can't
people.
really tell.
It'll take a bit because
there you go.
Yeah. This stream's not very problematic. Well, at least 30 people are watching. Oh, that's okay. Now they in La Ferresi they actually made the depression before they were buried. And what else? There is a site. Let's see that the excavated sediments will return and fill after the body has been placed. Second, a natural depression is an obvious and easy explorable location to place the dead. Potential burials, yeah, that's true. But this, let's see, there's some. You can see it from the picture. This
Is that
picture
you?
here. No, that's not
Is
me.
that you after a night on the piss?
Yes, possibly. Yeah, not the top one. The bottom one's me. Yeah,
exactly.
There's evidence from here as shown that they placed plants, flowers, and even ochre on top of the body. So that means that they did. Ochre is a clay, a red clay. It's basically iron oxide clay.
Okay.
But it's red. Yeah. Natural. You can get it yellow, brown, and red. They're the colors of ochre.
Oh yeah, ochre.
And you can mix it with spit and make a paste which you can put on your body in the face of that. So yeah. Now in the Shanidar cave in Israel, the adult Neanderthal was laid upon a bed of flowers. I can't emphasize. Yes, I can. And a bed of flowers. That means that's me, the one that's lying down. That means that they just didn't chuck him in. Shanidar's in Israel, by the way. They were actually putting grave goods, because putting flowers is a grave good. Same with the covering of with the ochre, or putting, say, this some part of their favorite flint knife, for example.
Question: did the Neanderthals have dogs?
No.
Okay.
That's domestication of dog. The initial domestication is strictly Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay. No other hominin domesticated animals or plants.
There's actually an indication that it was the other way around, that dogs actually domesticated Homo sapiens, that they actually chose the human species to cohabitate with. So it wasn't like just, some crazy Homo sapiens catching some wild wolves or whatever and trying to domesticate them. It was the other way around. The dogs would come around, they look interesting. Okay.
It's a bit of both, actually.
So yeah,
Because it's a bit of both. From the 2 weeks ago, the stream I did 2 weeks ago, and the discovery of actual breeding of two different types of working dogs in Siberia, where one of them was bred to be bigger, to pull sleds, while another. Hello, Nick.
That's good, dude. There we go.
I was just explaining domestication. Domestication and actual breeding, deliberate breeding in Siberia 9,000 years ago.
Of dogs.
Yeah,
my favorite
Not
was
of the master race of dogs.
Yeah.
Also parrots.
Parrots.
Yeah, we did discuss parrots.
Mhm.
I explained domestication of dogs and cats to my daughter, and it was funny because she actually kind of understood the joke we've been making about how cats don't care about people.
they
don't.
They just like food. I'm like, yes, baby, they just like food. And she's like, my cat loves me. I'm like, of course.
No, his cat
I still
doesn't love
don't
you.
believe. I still don't believe we have domesticated cats. I think we only breed them.
No, we've come to cohabitate with them.
Yeah, of course, but they're just so detached from us, and unlike the dog, which actually is especially the wolf, because the wolf society is mirrored. Is very parallel to what our society was in hunter gathering.
I want to just let me actually just suggest to you though that you take a moment and you realize that this conversation is probably more interesting than 90% of the British election streams going on right now.
Probably.
I expected, yes.
Have you just been on Zargon's stream?
I was able to last in that one for about 30 seconds. Same with Robbins. I'm like, okay.
Are they saying the same things that they did? Did they?
At this point, it all kind of sounds the same to me.
Mm.
Oh man, thanks a lot
There
for
is 9,000. There is over 9,000 people on that stream. Over 9,000.
Yeah, well,
That's all there for
Just
the
sitting
council.
there trying to get a word in edgewise.
no, I
And
mean,
he's
I
showing the same
know
picture.
that I sit with bated breath awaiting these political insights. So,
well, he's a master troll. You have to admit, he trolls people with a masterful
honestly,
Romanian
today's
point of view.
Today's just one of the days in which the average horse shit which seems to populate the internet is just I just don't have the fucking patience for it. I mean, I think there's only so many times in which I can see someone at one time say how immature or this or that these parties' voters are for saying that anybody who votes the opposite way are a bunch of cunts before retweeting somebody who says that those people are vile. And then if it's not that, it's like, oh my god, Lacey Green and Chris Drago, and oh my god, I'm totally in my 20s, 30s. I'm not 14 years old here. It's
no, I think
it's almost like that.
Should stay on
It's
Twitter
almost like
anyway.
that. Chris and Lacey can't bonk because reasons.
Look, like I said, we have all missed the most important thing to come out of this, and that is that Barbara for you to see is single.
Yeah.
Ah,
No, we haven't. Trust me. I have
Oh, we're just not talking about. Okay, that's cool.
I thought that was well known. I thought that was well
You
known.
do you, boo boo. That's fine.
So, shall we continue a little bit more on how Neanderthals ritualistically buried their dead? We have Regadu
If it makes you happy.
Cave. Well, just so we won't get into that the currents what everyone else is doing. I'll intersect a bit of archaeology. Then we can go into a bit of shit talking. That bit different.
I would kind of like to know how did they prepare bodies? Like, did they use like spices or any kind of anything like that, like greenery or anything like that? I just wanted to.
No, nothing like that. That's very, very, very modern. That the ancient Egyptians were probably the first in our part of the world, because independently the Peruvians, the Incas also sort of mummified them, but they just used the desert to dry them out, preserve the bodies and that. But what the Neanderthals did, if you can see the picture here from Shandy now, me lying on the ground in a bed of flowers and that's all the preparation they did. Then it would have been a depression, so they could cover him up where animals wouldn't get to them, more or less. Number 3.
Yeah, Daniel Nyborg in the chat said, at least the Neanderthals had the common decency to bury their old and sick, re-elect them to office.
True. That's true. Yep.
Well, you gotta do something with them.
Neanderthals actually took care of the old people. You can see that's the a skull and a reconstruction of the old man from La Chapelle. La Chapelle is also in France, in the Bourgogne region near La Pharisee and near La Chaux. It's all in that beautiful valley of the Bourgogne River. I have to go there one day. They took care of the old people. Yeah, Bourgogne River. The Bourgogne area. Because you see an old bloke who had no teeth, and he was given mashed food. And how do you mash food in that time? He didn't have a mortar and pestle. You chewed it. So he had young people, or the rest of the crew, chewing the food for the old bloke.
He probably knew all the jokes.
Yep. Or he could have been a shaman, for example.
He looks like a funny fella. I mean, look, he literally looks like he's just laughing about a joke he made.
Laughing, exactly.
That's great. And it doesn't even have a huge forehead. I thought that Neanderthals had these really big bulges.
No.
Like
No. They were the big foreheads are Homo sapiens sapiens. They had not as big brow ridges or occipital.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The brows, the part that protects your eyes, because I don't know, they were probably fighters.
Where the eyebrows are. They were bigger than ours, but not by that much. They would only be emphasized because the Neanderthals didn't have a flat forehead. They sloped back.
No frontal lobes.
Bigger.
Smaller frontal lobes.
No, just different, slightly different architecture of the brain, but they had the same. They had, in fact, slightly larger cranial capacity than we have. We do, on average, 1 to 2%.
Cranial capacity, so bigger brains.
Cranial. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, bigger big brains.
So I have a question. As compared to us, like, what size brains did they have? Like, our brains are,
we average 1.3 liters.
Right.
Yeah.
Theirs was about 1.4.
It goes to show it's quantity, not quality, right? Quality, not quantity. It's the amount of
it just doesn't look like they would have had enough room in their skulls for a high development of the prefrontal cortex. They would have had an extremely restricted growth.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they've beginning to discover that in some caves, especially in the cave of Gibraltar, that maybe Neanderthals actually did things that were formerly attributed to us, and that would require something that is called conceptualized thinking, expressed in art. Up until now, only Homo sapiens sapiens were known to produce art, and art is an expression of a conceptual God, I'm not very good at philosophy and that, but you have to. It's representative. No, it's not representative. It's come on, someone help me.
I don't know what we're talking about to help you.
What art is what? Art is what's that word? It represents something. It represents. It's not the word I want to use. Representative. I want to use. There's something else.
Symbolism.
Symbolic. Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Symbolic.
okay.
Yeah. So that requires you to
Literally, figuratively.
Abstract, conceptual.
Abstract.
Like
yes, abstract.
Think in the
right.
abstract.
Yes,
Base Mama,
abstract.
you're the scholar. You're a scholar among stupid men. That's what.
I'm just a failed psych student. I just don't want to listen to people bitch all day.
This would be a perfect segue, but somebody in the chat asked whether they had cannibalism in Neanderthal culture. I would.
Oh yes, they did. Yeah.
But not
I made a video on that.
widespread, is it?
There's two places where there was evidence. There's one in Belgium, in the cave where they actually ritually. It was ritualistic. It wasn't anything necessity
like,
to eat.
Yeah, it wasn't like a food source as such. It was more like
no.
Okay.
In the Belgian cave, but in the Spanish cave in Spain, yes, they did
the
eat
Spanish
the
well,
Spanish Neanderthals.
They seem to bring out the cannibalism in people.
Yeah, exactly. They did eat some members because of lean periods of time. They were starving.
It's just interesting because Lana told me about a Scottish case in Scotland in actually last century, 20th century. There was like a pair that built a whole like tribe in a Scottish cave, and they actually caught like tourists or whoever got lost near the cave. It was amazing that they even had to develop their own language. I don't know, maybe she was just telling me bullshit, but it's an interesting discussion, and it segued. We had a talk about veganism. Did anybody see the vegan gains discussion with Andy Worski?
Sort of.
I haven't, but I can already tell you Vegan Games is half retarded. So
yeah, but it was
half retarded.
Look, I'm being generous. Okay.
He had another guy with him, and they were arguing, and they were kind of trying to, or they were kind of half convincing Andy Worski that he was a vegan too. And Chris was the only one who kind of held up, intellectually. I was screaming.
Oh my God!
I was screaming at the screen. I tell you. No.
Yeah, that you're born a vegan. Like, no, if we were meant to be vegans, we wouldn't have like husbands. We wouldn't have teeth made for tearing meat. Like, no, exactly. You should eat meat.
You wouldn't have those teeth. There's so many arguments, but the vegans have a script. I don't know if you know this, but you see it. They always use the script when they try to convince you that it's morally wrong to eat meat, right? And there's a really interesting point that's self-defeating, and I keep screaming at the screen when it comes up because nobody has spotted it. It goes approximately like this, but it's really interesting because you can put a parallel into the Neanderthals. If aliens came down, that's the argument. If aliens came down, and they would see that, and they're super intelligent, they're much more intelligent than us humans, then would you agree that they can eat us because we are more intelligent than animals, and that's the reason why we eat animals. And that's the whole premise, that we say we're eating animals because we're more intelligent than them. And I would say, no, that's completely wrong. It's completely wrong because they say that we think that the premise that humans are different from other animals, and that's why we eat them. And that's exactly not why we eat them. We eat them because we are like other animals. We are just apex. We are just an apex species. But if you ask the tiger, why do you not eat other tigers? The tiger would say, well, they're not prey.
Exactly.
Oh, a tiger will eat another tiger.
Well, not
I
necessarily.
mean, they like the young ones because the tender meat, but they'll eat them.
But yeah, I mean, you generally, like, cannibalism in species is not something that's like super widespread unless you have overpopulation or something like that. You know,
Exactly.
the species won't thrive. You know, if it eats
I've
itself.
brought up that the Spanish study in
there it is.
that
Cool.
they were the Neanderthals in Spain suffered from periods of starvation. They may have supplemented their diet with cannibalism, according to a study in northwestern Spain. And 43,000 years ago, that was almost towards the end in El Cidron. So yeah, they found that this was one of the few examples of supplementing in periods of starvation.
You know,
But
that was by necessity. You know, obviously they had to do it in order to survive. So you know, that would be an exception. You know,
but it's not.
Be
It's,
like
it's
a
a
rule.
very,
You know,
it's a very small exception. The Belgium cave, it was ritualistic. They ate after the member died. Yeah, and then because then they reused their bones to other things. They made tools out of their bones.
Cool.
That's what it did. It wasn't.
Probably
You could say that this was a form of them burying their dead, sort of disposing of the bodies in a ritualistic manner.
It's cool.
So, well,
so
something else.
Just a question. Would you think, like, just to finish that thought, what would you think an alien would do coming down to Earth? Would he eat? Would he humans as a food source?
It's hard to say because then we need to speculate about a non-terrestrial life form. But
well, you see, it's very simple. It's extremely simple. Imagine you go to Mars and you find other beings, and they're less intelligent than you, but you know that there's kind of a hierarchy there as well. What would you do? You would go to these other beings and say,
most people, like the first concern that any other species would have if a slightly more advanced human race contacted them would not be being eaten but being fucked.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. How I thought, Nick, I thought you'd go in and say, well, what's your best restaurant? You know, so if I was an alien coming down to Earth, I would say, well, you have fast food, because you would go to the apex species and say, what do you guys eat? Okay, invite us. You know, make me a spit roast or something. Would that make much more sense?
I'm honestly like, but before I hear Vegan Gain's misapprehension about the Kardashev scale and such, I'd really like to hear his vegan dog's opinion.
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh God, is he one of those?
That is terrible. Reprehensible.
Yeah, it's. I mean, even take it as an abstract, though. Take it as an abstract, right? If there is a species that is as more advanced from us as we are from our typical livestock, right?
Yeah.
Our considerations of being prey, of being food, would be about as worth regarding as theirs are. Because the universe is not a moral or even ethical place. The universe is this very apparently difficult to understand environment filled with entropy and equilibrium, which operates according to cold and unfeeling natural laws, and not the pure moralistic posturing of first world cunts whose biggest concern is the gear ratio on their street bike. You know. No, he wants to make these moral arguments. What's the moral argument? What do we do with the 18 billion farm animals that live on the earth right now, and that we're supposed to respect and allow them to live, live their lives? Does that mean allowing them to breed as they would not naturally? Does that mean allowing farm species to overrun the earth and depleting all of the resources for every other species, including themselves and us? It's an asinine argument made by an imbecile.
Exactly.
We
Many
obviously
of the
argue for killing
modern
them all, mercy killing them all. But
no,
it is a biotope, right? I mean, the Earth is a biotope, and so to speak, in a larger context, the universe is also a biotope. So you'd find another planet and fuck it up, completely terraform it, completely change it, would you? You probably wouldn't, You'd probably check out what's there, and try to work with that.
many of the domesticated animals we have now would not survive without human intervention. They would go extinct naturally.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, it's also it's the question of ecosystems and predation on its own. You reintroduce wolves to parts in which they've been driven out. And not only do you find that the otherwise unmanageable deer and prey populations go down to manageable levels, but you also find other forms of plants and fish and other forms of life that are allowed to thrive because the overpopulation of their natural predators is not an issue. Man has made himself into an essential part of the ecosystem. In fact, hunting licenses. This is one thing I love when it comes to things like the gun debate or hunting debates, right? It's a question of idealism versus realism, and ironically too, because hunters are oftentimes the most staunch conservationists out there. But at the same time, hunting licenses themselves are issued in accordance to what the culling of the population requires, not just what like some lobby demands because they want to grab and bag another few bucks, but it's because they know that they need to take down a certain number of them if they're going to keep the population remotely manageable. Otherwise, you end up, and this is, realizing that not everyone here is American, in the western portion of the state of Pennsylvania, or the northern portion of West Virginia, and along the border with Ohio. Deer season is an absolute must because even when the quotas are met, the sheer numbers of dead deer and stags you will find along the highway, as well as the numbers of accidents which occur as a result of it. It just proves the populations are simply unmanageable. These imbeciles.
The trees, don't they?
Yeah, they damage the trees. They run other populations out. We've driven out the natural predators and become the natural predators to the point where without us, ecosystems crash and crumble. But imbeciles like him don't want to hear that.
are you guys watching the screen I just shared? I'll put it bigger. It says here, Paleolithic.
How human brains evolved with meat. Yes, let's read this.
Exactly. Okay, just say here we go. If you poke around raw vegan corners of the internet for long enough, you'll almost certainly come across the idea that humans aren't evolutionarily designed to eat meat. The theory is that since humans and other primates evolved from a common ancestor, then humans and other primates are primarily designed to eat plants. Well, first of all, other primates do actually eat meat, and quite a bit of it. Chimpanzees, right? More importantly, however, might be true about apes or chimpanzees. There's an overwhelming amount of evidence that humans evolved as omnivores. We eat both meat and plants. Yes.
Just like pork.
Exactly. If you want more on why we are not actually evolutionarily designed to do vegans, it means our appendix, our gut is not designed to just eat pure vegetables.
It's definitely
we
not
can't
designed
process.
for wheat. Carlos, wheat is absolute shit for us. There's so many people who have wheat allergies, gluten, and we're not really adapted to it. It's too fresh.
Well, I think that's more of a modern type phenomena. I don't know. On that. I don't know.
But it just goes to show that we're not fully adapted to eat so much bread. So, and if that's one of the food sources for vegans, then they're mightily wrong.
Exactly. Yes, I'm sure it is. Yes. I don't know. I can't say yes. No, I don't know. So, meat is important in making us humans in the first place, especially for our huge calorie-sucking brains. Our brains use up to 20% of a person's calorie intake, and just to get it functioning. It demands all kinds of nutrients, from omega-3 acids to B vitamins, and we simply cannot evolve on such a demanding organ without meat to provide calories and important nutrients.
Not to forget alcohol.
Yes, and alcohol. Yes, exactly. We covered that, didn't we? No, I covered that with. We did. I cover that.
Not
I
on
think it
this
was Sage,
stream.
wasn't it? You, Tim? Yeah, on this stream, yes. But we talked about how we were not the only animals. We evolved with alcohol as well. So yeah.
Not only that, but even on
So
even in our modern biological history, if we didn't have alcohol, huge portions of our species would have died off.
It's the one thing that
Yeah, clean
every
the water.
civilization to date has managed to discover and develop.
Yep.
Look, Carlos, Omegon just joined.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Where?
Hello.
Oh, hello, man.
The Squid Man.
Oh, how are you? And thank you for gracing my little channel. We're discussing veganism and how it's. I don't mind vegetarianism, though. I don't mind vegetarians because vegetarians don't have a whole baggage load of ideology behind them. They just don't eat meat because fuck it, I don't like meat. That's it.
I don't mind vegans either. They can kill themselves and destroy their health for all I care. It's the fucking preaching I have a problem with.
That's why the ideological.
It's when it turns into a bloody religion. That's when I have my problems.
Yeah. I don't know if Andy. I gave him so many notes that he should have used against vegan games. I don't think he used any of them. The agricultural problem. You have to use land to cultivate food, plants to feed vegans, right? That's very problematic because drinking fresh water that you can drink is a very rare commodity on Earth. We will start wars soon because of that, because of water, fresh water.
I also have my discussion about the whole morality and ethics thing of the whole point. If the point is to not kill anything, well, then, dude, I have some very bad news for you.
You kill yourself first. That's the easiest way, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
you kill tons of things every day, and leaving that aside, why is killing plant life in any way better than killing killing animal life? If it has to do with sentience or sapience, then it has nothing to do with the life principle of life in the first place. Then it simply has everything to do with not killing stuff that the given vegan doesn't, want killed more than any overarching principle.
Yeah,
but that's why I never touch their morality, because that's the weakest point arguments. Yeah, it's the weakest point of the argument.
No,
yeah, but it's basically the one they have. At the same time, it's also the one they will always fall back on. So it's one that one has to sort of be able to at least deal with one way or the other.
I will always dismiss their moral argument because it has no basis. A moral is subjective.
I think the thing is they want to convince you that that you also want to minimize suffering, and it's all this kind of lofty softy thing, but you don't want suffering. But then if you look at an animal that needs to survive in the wild, hey man, I have chickens and we've ducks now and chickens and geese, and man, they have a really hard life when they're out in the wild. They really prefer it when they get their food every day. Chase around, and they can breed the young ones. They're happy, and they have way less stress than a wild animal.
Yeah, what I was saying about the agricultural problem, once you use up water that you could use to drink for people, you can expand more the land into areas where you don't use water to water plants. Then you introduce other things to the land. You're actually destroying the land where you plant crops because you're introducing salt. If it's not so, it's inevitable. You will always introduce salts because water in irrigation dissolves the natural salts into in the soil. It'll get more higher concentrates as soon as you add fertilizer, for example. Even if you add organic fertilizer, dung, has minerals and salts in it. It'll always poison the land. So there's that argument. Well, while herds of cattle,
that's a huge one, actually, Carlos. You just reminded me. We have like a small holding. When you have a small holding, you have a farm. You actually need small animals in order to fertilize your ground naturally. So you actually need actually animal shit. Otherwise, your land will go in 2 or 3 years. It will be completely fucked up. So you need.
That's if you don't fertilize. But even with fertilizing that way, you're still adding salts and other things into the soil. That in time, if you have to be micromanaged in such a way that it can, over time, it will become salty naturally.
That's why you need more than just crop rotation.
Exactly, yeah. Because the old way of farming will not feed the population of a country. You have to have intensive farming to feed the population of a country.
But that's only because of urbanization. I mean, that depends. I mean, if you feed yourself like a small farm, then you don't have to work the land that hard. But obviously, if you want to feed a whole city, and there's just tons of people on a very small room, then you need to do it industrialized. Then there's no choice.
I won't even go into Africa because they have natural droughts and all that. But in areas like Papua New Guinea. That is a tropical paradise. It rains. There's no drought there. They have to. They can't. They don't produce enough farming, enough crops to feed their small population, which is about. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up now, but it's small. They have to import, or they have to either import, or cheaper ways breed animals. They provide compact. Much more nutrition than any plant food will, in a much compact package. So that's it.
Well, part of the problem of jungled areas is also, I mean, for good agriculture, there are lots of things that need to be there. I mean, it can't be too dry, but it surely can't be too wet either. So there is a little bit of
exactly. That's why the American Midwest is at this moment the granary of the world, in fact. But Russia's catching up.
Well, Russia used to be it.
Yeah, but Russia now, because of the European sanctions, their farming has taken off, rivaling our. Raven, you're doxing yourself, man.
I know. I don't give a shit.
Oh.
It's your 1K sub stream, so.
Oh man, thank you.
But no, yeah, Russia used to be the grain vault of the world for a very long time. So yeah, they're just scratching back to where they once were.
Yeah, because of the Soviet Union destroying their farming. Exactly. So
another good example of why socialism is such a good thing.
Yep. If you want to be very, very, well, you can't be body shamed in those socialist countries because you're starving and everyone's thin. Well, not everyone, because the higher echelons and the military and the police are quite well off compared to the rest of the population.
If you had to be a cannibal, what kind of human would you eat?
A very, very fat SJW.
But usually cannibals would eat different tribes.
Yeah. Do you want to know why? A great white shark, does not actively hunt humans. It is a myth that they attack us because they're going to attack us. No. A great white shark. As soon as they bites into a human, he will find bone and gristle. He will let go, so the person dies anyway. The bull shark is different, but the great white shark, because it eats seals. Seals are blubber. So that's why if I was a cannibal, I'd use that logic. Blubber means I'd eat more in a big fat SJW.
That's true. Once you shave off the blue hair.
So you're putting Tess Holiday on notice, basically.
Yep.
Well, listen, I've got to go swap my laundry out, so I'm going to drop out, but I've still got the link, so if you're going to be going for a while, I might jump in back.
Oh, no worries, man. Thank you for coming on, my brother. Thank you.
Good to talk to you again, brother. Good talking with all of you.
See you later, Nick.
Don't think I'm in favor of cannibalism, to be honest. I mean, it's not good for our biologically.
I have a question.
No, it's not true, actually.
Wait.
That was
Mama
another
wants to
thing
ask a
that Lana
question.
told me.
People,
That actually, human meat is actually the best digestible to the human.
Ew.
Yeah, but
Mama,
does it
what were you
use?
going to ask?
Ugh.
It's most compatible.
I was going
Mama.
to ask what is most likely the first kind of meat that people ate? I mean, like, what was the first thing that was domesticated for meat production?
Mammals.
And now I'm like so eked out by what Raven said that I just want to kind of throw up a little bit.
Goats and sheep would have been the first, and pigs a bit later on would have been the first animals domesticated for consumption.
What was before pigs?
Yes, pigs. In this, not too far after there's goats and sheep. Goats and sheep were
What
the
about
first one.
deer? Wouldn't that be the first thing? Deer or something?
Yes, but they tried it, but deer aren't very domesticatable. That's the problem.
Yeah, they
Even today,
don't
the reindeer.
domesticate well.
Yeah. Even the reindeer today that have been bred in the northern hemisphere of Europe and they are not very easily. They're not domesticated. They're sort of semi-wild.
What about chickens? I mean, they're really kind of stupid. I mean,
Oh yeah. After we learned how to domesticate goats and sheep, all the other animals just came along easily.
well, I thought like fowl kind of, those then kind of birds, fence them in, clip their wings or whatever, and they're fairly easy to. They don't run away, They're just.
I don't know
I
where
guess-
the first
well-
chickens were domesticated. I don't know what part of the world they were native to, even though there are many fowl.
It might be worth mentioning that we don't actually know, as far as I know, Carlos can answer this a lot better than me, whether or not domestication for food came before we actually became, before we stopped being nomadic.
Oh, it
I
came
think-
after. No, it came before.
I think
Yeah.
no, it came after.
The point is,
It came after the start of how do you call it? After we started growing our own food, that's when domestication of food animals started.
No, our first food production was domesticating animals. The grains were just a sort of almost an accident.
The point with that, the point
Yes.
the point I'm trying to make is, if you're living a nomadic lifestyle, there are also limits to the amount of food animals you can actually use, because it has to be someone that can survive following you around.
Yeah, that's the problem. You need to have food production to have animals. For one,
No, you don't. No. Look how they farm reindeer in the northern hemisphere. They don't. The Laplanders, the Siberian people, they don't produce any form of agricultural products. They just follow the herds.
yeah, but that's still nomadic.
Exactly. Yes. So that's what I said. We first domesticated animals, then we settled down. When we started planting crops, deliberately planting crops, because the first initial crop production was not settling down. They probably knew they harvested the wild grains. Some always drop to the ground, and the ones that they kept on, that's sort of an indirect domestication itself, indirect genetic modification, GMO. Yes.
Here's a $1,000 million question. What was grain harvested for first, for bread or for beer?
We did answer that one
For
last
bread.
time.
Yes, we did. It's for bread. Yes.
I don't believe you. Heretic.
Now,
Oh,
do you
man, man.
when did they first make beer, and for what purpose do you think it was?
Shit,
So I was actually having this argument with my
What do you mean
mother.
purpose?
My mother said that it was used in religious ceremonies, like wine and beer. And I was like, no, I think that they made beer to keep the water from going off.
No, I
And she
don't.
just kept going, no, it was religious. I'm like, I don't think so.
My best guess is the beer was at first produced to get drunk off.
Yeah.
Purely
Which is a
because
religious experience. It's spiritual.
in and of itself, yeah.
That's where the word spirit comes from, isn't it?
I'm gonna look at
I
the
think
links
that's
that
that's more
I have the
fermented
links.
stuff.
When was it?
Looks like Omicron dropped out. Where is he
Alcohol. Here we
gone?
go. Who?
Oh my god, he ran away. He just typed moist in the chat and ran away.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. He well, I really appreciate his coming on. Oh, man, it was awesome. Come
Everybody
on.
should just drop in and say congratulations and then just leave.
No, he
You know
did.
what I find really amazing? Any chat I go to, all the good streams, I go to, there's Warped Reflection is there, and then Evil Gunny is on the high quality ones. Those guys are just
Yes.
red. You have to really give them a shout out on the air because they're the best. They're always there.
I always give. Yes, these people, the ones that come on all the time are oh god, they're so awesome.
Yep.
Trying to find the links. Excuse me. Here we go. Found it. I'm sorry.
I'll get more beer. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me just select myself. This is the social and cultural aspects of drinking, the origin of alcoholic beverages. It's about here. The earliest brews. The production of an alcoholic beverage requires only the presence of a very simple organic process, that is fermentation, by which sugars are transformed in the action of yeast to produce ethyl alcohol. Sugars in the form of glucose, fructose, maltose, lactose are available from honey, fruits, sprouting grains, milk. Produced in turn mead, wine, beer, and kumish, which is milk schnapps. The availability of such sugars, however, were taken for granted in modern day Europe. But in the prehistoric times, wine, wild grapes from the Vitis sylvestris, for example, in contrast to the highly selective varieties of Vitis vinifera. So the grapes that were back then had very little sugar to ferment. And the fermentation was in Europe with the evidence of development of grain sprouting in Europe at least 2000 BC, where the production of meat from wild honey was also thought to be the first developed. The first beers were the Sumerians around 3200 BC, and like we said, they didn't have hops. It was more of an ale instead of the beer that we know now. They would have failed easily, so they couldn't store them for long. Until we developed Pasteur developed the pasteurization of beers and wine and all that to stop it from spoiling, from turning into vinegar, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And in Mesopotamia, they have similar pictographs dating back to 4000 BCs of the fermentation of beer. While Greece, wine is earlier, 2000, around 2000 BC. But we know that fermentation in the 8th to 4th millennium BC, that they would have had some form of munching of grain, letting it ferment, adding water, it would froth up, and a day or two later you have an alcoholic beverage.
Talking of Greek wine, how do you like Retsina?
Never drank it, I don't know.
It's kind of earthy, mossy. It's nice. You try it.
Well,
Go on.
I'm spoiled for choice with Portuguese wine, so.
You probably look nowhere else. Hard to get Portuguese wine in Ireland, mind you.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Did burials become more complex as Neanderthals came into contact with Homo sapiens?
Could you repeat that, Mama? I didn't hear that well.
Sorry, did burial rituals become more complex as Neanderthals came into contact with Homo sapiens?
Possibly. We still don't have that much evidence, though, but possibly.
Well, because Homo sapiens have kind of always had ritualistic ways of burial. I mean, unless they had to like throw them in the ocean or whatever. But
well, not really. No. The oldest direct ritualistic burial evidence we have is about, for Homo sapiens sapiens, is only about 30 to 40,000 years ago.
That's pretty good, dude.
That's because we probably haven't found any other, but what we have found, that's the oldest. That's why we can't say no.
Like, that was ritualistic based on what evidence?
I'll look it up again. I have it here.
I'm forcing you to teach me archaeology right now. A little bit of anthropology too. You're welcome, people watching.
But wasn't part of the evidence the fact that they found burial sites, the fact that they buried them in themselves?
Yes, and one of them is this one. That's one of the most famous one. Let's see where I can. Here we go. Let's see if it's got a picture. Yep, it's got a picture. I'll share. This is the reconstruction, by the way. Dolny Vestonica. This is how they did it. That's how we know they did it. The site is 25,000 years ago in Moravia, Czech Republic, Czech province of Moravia.
Oh, it was a hand job.
What's going on with that?
Hand job.
We don't know.
I'm more interested in the one that's laying with the face down.
Yeah, we don't know why they buried them like this. We have absolutely no idea. This to us is, wow, what the fuck's happening here? It's ritualistic, but why did they bury them like that? What connection did they have to each other?
Do you think that they had like a solid, like ritualized religious life, or?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, because they produced Venus figurines. This is the actual how they found them.
And were they polytheistic, do you think, or were they nature worshippers? Like, what do we know?
Most possibly naturistic. Let's see if I can find them. They produced Venus figurines.
Well, in all fairness, that's an assumption. We simply do not know. We do know that they created,
we don't
for
know,
example, the figurines, but whether that figurine whether that figurine is a replication of what could be a god or what could be it's a fertility force. Yeah, it's a fertility symbol.
We know that it's a fertility symbol, and it's not just common by this site. We find them in many other sites. We find them in Wittenberg or Buiten something in Germany. We find them in France. We find them in Italy. We find them even in Spain. These type of figures, more or less contemporary. They belong to the Celebratory culture, quote unquote.
But you will find them long after as well, because you can still find stuff like this roughly in 10th century Europe amongst the Viking era.
Oh yeah,
and this not is 100% like that, but yeah.
Now I have a question. They were obviously very obsessed with fertility. Do you think that could be an aspect of the burial? Like maybe he was particularly prolific gentleman.
I think one of them is a female, if I'm not mistaken.
But not the one in the middle, is it?
Not the one in the middle, no. That's why I was thinking, like, perhaps
But
they
that's what I was
were,
thinking.
polygamous, and those were both of his wives. I mean, we don't know. I'm just wondering. Because if they were nature worshippers, they might have also done human sacrifice. Do we know if that occurred? I mean, if they're cannibalizing and killing each other in ritualistic ways and doing ritualistic
they didn't.
corpse
No
disposal.
cannibalism here. No cannibalism here. There were 3 teenagers. Yeah, they were ritualists in a common grave. One individual, one was face down, the other one's face up. One had the hand placed in the pelvic area with red ochre. Red ochre. See, what did they say? I've read. I've forgotten what about this. See, what's the word?
Sorry.
No, I forget a lot. I forget a lot.
Yeah, so dude, congrats on 1K, and think you're congrats on 1K. And then I have to read this because this shit was funny. Daniel Nyborg says, "Bury me face down so the world can kiss my ass." Gruh, 10,000 BC.
Definitely. That was definitely an Irishman who said that. Irish kid.
Oh Lord, that's funny.
Okay, here we go. There was these individuals somewhat noted with the hands of the male. On the left was placed in the middle skeleton's pelvic area, which was covered in red ochre. The individual was also found to be lying on his back, with his face towards the female. So the middle one was a female.
Okay.
And the 2 outer ones were males.
Huh. Well, I mean, yeah, I could see that was the whole fertility thing. But
yes, exactly, because the red means menstrual, possibly. This is speculation. We don't know what they did. We don't know. But
it's anthropology. It's all speculation.
Well, anthropology it is until archaeology gets the facts.
It's all McDonald's.
This is why I'm making the distinction here. You have archaeology, which is the real thing, and then you have anthropology, which is sort of like the social science of ancient history.
I'm not really agreeing with you on that.
It's not.
Based on they have. Listen, I am a historical reenactor, and a lot of things that we found we couldn't identify, and then once we started using it, we figured out what it was being used for.
Anthropology studies.
You figured out one thing it could be used for.
No. We tried all sorts of things. For example, the way clothing worked on Germanic women, for example.
Yes, but you still don't know why they were used, if there were other things they were used.
Well, no, we have a pretty clear idea why they use certain clothing.
Anthropology is the study of Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yeah. Doesn't go much further than that.
More of their social aspect, their behavior, etc. Well, archaeology is the study of hominins and pre-hominins and so on. We're using material remains. Must have a cover. Using material remains, be they their bones, whatever they look behind.
It's the whole McDonald's thing, isn't it? No, seriously. I mean, it's been done. It's been done to death. I always liked it. I don't doubt anthropologists and archaeologists, but human civilization as we know it today vanishes for some reason tomorrow. Will be found again in 3,000 years and dug out. We have these restaurants, McDonald's or whatever, but they're all over the world. They're the same shape. They're the same thing everywhere. Who would not, if they dug us out in 3,000 years, think that was some kind of world-spanning religion?
Yeah.
Not necessarily religion, because they would know what a religion is and etc. But they could use it to name an era. Because of the common, like the Bell Beaker people.
Yeah, but it's just I'm a historian. I'm not an archaeologist. I don't dare speak for.
Oh my God, Raven, you're killing me. Meet yourself. I'm sorry. Here's the bag, the Chris bag.
I'll show you how an all-encompassing European-wide culture that basically we don't. The only thing that ties them together. Oh, I'm already sharing. No, we're not. I'm sharing now. If you can guys see.
Oh, what is that?
This is the bell beaker culture of the late
What
early
is happening right now?
Bronze Age. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The only thing that you can see on this map here, where it was, this was Bronze Age and the Copper Age, where they were found, the bell beakers. Let's see if I can show these objects. Right. They are common in all of this area, but that's it. That's the only characteristic that basically tied these wide areas together.
What's a bell beaker?
It's a beaker pot in this form of a bell. That's it.
Yeah, no.
That's where they started. I think they are linked with
That's not me,
Indo-Europeans.
no. Base, that's not me. I've stopped eating chips. That's somebody else.
I'm not eating at the moment. I have some honey glazed barbecued peanuts, but I'm not eating them now.
Nice. I bet it's Modwayne. Modwayne, it's you.
Okay.
And
It's making me crazy. I love you, but it's making me crazy.
You just
this
get
is
your
the
own
future.
Look,
A possible
really
future with
stuff
McDonald's.
Like pie.
Yeah. So McDonald's, they could name our culture the McDonald's era.
Yeah, but my point that I wanted to make was basically, again, I'm not going to argue with an anthropologist. I'm not going to argue with an archaeologist. They have skill sets I don't have as a historian. My point that I want to make is I feel, as a historian, based upon historical factors, I think that we are too eager to declare things we don't understand, either spiritualistic or religious in nature.
Oh, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yes,
that's basically the only. That was basically the only point I was trying to make.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head. Exactly. That's why, yes, we shouldn't do that. We should never jump to conclusions, and it's not helped by idiot newspaper articles that Europe is the cradle of humans. A couple of weeks ago.
Sure, right, my ass.
Because they found a hominin that is most Greco-Pithecus Aegyptius, or I can't remember. No, I can't remember the other designation. That most likely will be Paranthropus chadensis. Most likely be related to that one once they get enough information to tie them together. And they were in Chad, southern part of the Mediterranean. And at that time, the Mediterranean was almost dry. It had periods of some water and periods of desert. So, of course, they would have had a range that covered North Africa, Western Asia, and North and South Eastern Europe. It's natural. It's nothing bizarre.
No.
And then,
I agree.
Yeah. So when I saw that article, I said, "Oh shit! Someone's gonna make a fool. Well, someone's gonna spin this wrong," and I was correct. I was correct.
No, my point was basically all the way back to Mama's discussion with her mother regarding beer. That was when I started. Sorry, then we got sidetracked. My basic point is that when I'm only speaking as a historian, but I see in history a lot of things where people might say, "Oh, that was religious, that was something." No, people do a lot of shit on a daily basis that seems very odd just because we like to do it.
Yes.
No,
and I don't particularly see any reason why it should be different 20,000 years ago, even though, of course, situations cannot be directly compared.
But this is, for example, I mean, talking from a reenactment point of view, this is why we can say we know how, for example, clothing, how certain pieces of clothing worked, because it is about comfort. Everything humans do has a reason, even if that reason is just entertainment. But entertainment equals comfort.
Now it does. Before it didn't.
But we're talking about 10,000. So then it did.
10,000. No, it still was protective covering.
No. During the Middle Ages, no, it wasn't.
Oh, the Middle Ages. No, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, 10,000 after BC. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Then yes, 10,000 after BC.
So we know that even if people do something for just enjoyment, even though I don't really agree with the term just enjoyment in this, we know why. We can imagine why they would do something. It doesn't mean we have 100% proof of it, but we understand the concept of it. Does that make sense?
Again, modern times, yes, but we can't extrapolate what we do even 2,000 years ago with what the humans did 6,000 years ago.
I totally agree with you on that.
There's but yeah, and if we go back to the Paleolithic, not even the Neolithic was already you can consider it almost modern, because we were producing food in the Neolithic, even if it was just at the start accidental. But before, in the Paleolithic, when we were just hunter-gatherers, we can't compare absolutely nothing with our modern societies, but we can use some comparative archaeology with some tribes that still practice a very traditional way. Some San tribes in Africa. Aborigines up until the Australian Aborigines up until the 1960s, and I can't think of many more that still practice a modern day hunter-gathering way of life that could be comparable to what they did in the Paleolithic period.
Carlos?
Yes.
I'm sorry, man. I have to drop out. I have a vacation coming up very soon, and I need to pack before I need to fly out.
No problems, my dear friend. Thank you for coming on.
Very welcome. Congratulations on the 1,000, man. You well deserve it.
Oh, I don't know if I do, man.
Yes, you deserve more.
You do,
mate. I hope to be on again when I come back from vacation in a week or two. So
no problems, and have fun.
Yeah,
have fun,
I will. See you guys.
Be good.
Lots of pictures. All
right, trust me, that will happen. Bye.
Good.
Bye.
So bye, man. Bye. Thank you again. So yeah. Just coming back to the McDonald's thing. Yes, in 5,000 years after they find all these McDonald's restaurants, they could say that was the McDonald's period.
Yeah. In retrospect, that would make sense.
That's so
and
depressing.
they would say that.
I don't want to be known for McDonald's.
No, but we have McDonald's, you have KFC, you have Wendy's, and so on.
Base Mama, don't worry too much about it. People call eras whatever they think is most common. After all, how many people would still believe that at this very point in time, we're living in a steam age?
Modwayne, watch my screen.
Yeah, the food stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. No, but I mean,
don't know.
Did you read that?
It's a bit nasty, but it's a good joke.
Very nasty.
In all fairness, I wouldn't know and I wouldn't want to know, but that's a different story. No, but I mean, if we look at contemporary history now, I mean, we tend to give names to eras based on what we think is predominant, but we don't understand what people will look at when the time comes. As I said, we are still living in a steam era, but nobody says that. No, we live in electricity. We have coal. We have gasoline. Yeah, okay, but electricity is mostly built out of steam. Hell, our nuclear power plants are basically big steam engines.
That's true.
I would go even further that our era now would be possibly classified as the plastic era.
Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because we know that steam covered up in there. Okay, we're still in the Iron Age.
We're still in the Iron Age. Yeah, that's also
technically. True. But we know where the Iron Age starts.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we still use iron.
We use lots of iron.
I didn't know.
So that's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to say, though. I mean, the name is given based on what. Oh, sorry, hiccups. The name is often given based on what we think was most common in that area or in that time frame. But
and they were metal implements, iron implements, weapons and etc., which replaced the bronze. We're still using the Iron Age, iron tools and weapons.
Or you could argue that we live in the industrial age.
Yes, which started in 1790s.
Yeah. But we're still there.
Now we're still there, and we can say now, let's say we are in the plastic era, because now the predominant material that we use is plastic, which is replacing metal in a lot of ways.
Yep, also true.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. We don't name our eras. The people ahead of us, the future, will name the area that we live in.
Based on what happens, based on how it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one positive thing, because we could call this the SJW era.
Now there are certain ways we should not go.
Yes, exactly. That's why we should learn from our histories, and we should never disparage our history or be ashamed of our histories. We can't change them. We should never feel guilty about them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Guilt never helps anyone.
And when many of the Marxists are saying, "Oh, our history," fuck our history. You can't go back and change it. Move along, move on.
Yep.
And we're going into politics, not on. I'm getting to politics.
But may I answer one question though? Malachite is asking, why wasn't there a steel age? Malachite, do you know what steel is? It's iron.
Exactly.
Iron ore, right? And then they mix it with other
so
stuff.
there is that.
Yeah, we are also in an aluminium era age, because we are able to use a lot of aluminium as well. Or the information age, because that's these last 20 years, the information is just exploded with the internet and mass media and all that.
Yeah.
Digital era. Yes, thank you, Daniel. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we're also in the digital era.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Exactly. Yes, perfect. Yeah.
So
we are still in the ice age, though.
We're still in an ice age, which is
yes, we are.
We are in the end of an ice age. Because
no, we are in an interstadial between glacial maximums.
Well, I'm not really sure on that, considering the fact of what temperature is doing now and what it did during the Middle Ages.
That's just a small scale, small era variations. You have to look at the big picture.
Well, it seems
even during.
Go ahead. Sorry.
During the last interstadial, which was about 40,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens came into Europe, it was in an interstadial. The ice wall had retreated quite back, almost to the northern Germany and so on. So we were in a warm period. They found using the not just the ice cores of Greenland, but in the mud cores of the Atlantic, that they found that climate in 1,000 years could vary up to 10 degrees.
Yeah, but that's one of the problems I have with the. I mean, do we live in an age of global warming? Yes, we do, but we don't understand what it means.
No, exactly. We are warming up because of the carbon monoxide. That's the only thing. Because we are cutting down the trees.
Yeah.
The plankton in the ocean is not enough. We used to have before the Industrial Revolution, the Amazon was vast. Africa, the band that in Africa, the Congo to Mozambique, basically was all forested. Southeast Asia, all forested. Now
we've lost way too much green.
Exactly, and there's not enough of that green material to absorb all the carbon dioxide that we are putting into the atmosphere. The only thing that can do that now is if we have a major mountain building phase. mountain buildings, the Himalayas. It was because the Himalayas, building of the Himalayas 50 million years ago, basically kicked off the ice ages. One of the ice ages, in fact, because there's been 5. The one that happened 600 million years ago made the Earth into a ball of ice.
Mm-hmm.
There was ice sheets in the equator.
Yeah,
we were so fucking close to having no life left on Earth in that phase. It's incredible how close we were.
It's kind of funny if you look at it from a historical point of view. There's basically 2 extremes the world will turn into. It's either a ball of ice or a ball of sand. Because we see around the equator now, we see the other extreme. Not everywhere on the equator, luckily, but if we look at the deserts are always growing. I mean, it's at this point in time, deserts are always growing.
They grow, they shrink, depends.
Well, the last few hundred years, they've been mostly growing. If we look at Africa and hell, even Spain.
Yeah, but that's because just ask, no, BJ Price, I'm not talking about that today, Monday. Answering BJ Price from the chat. You're ahead of yourself, man. I have it covered. It's Monday, I'm doing that. Trust me, it's fucking awesome, I think.
Weren't you going to do that with BJ?
No, I wasn't. I'm going to talk about it. I'll decide tomorrow who will be my. God, I hope I get who I want to come on. If he comes on, if he's not too busy, it'll be fucking awesome. But I'll keep it quiet for now because I don't want to. If not, I'll do it myself. I can do it then.
You don't want to jinx it.
Exactly. So let's see. I'll talk to him tomorrow. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, because of the climate change. It's not global warming. It's climate change.
Yeah.
It's in extremes. There's too much energy into the atmosphere now. When you warm it up, the atmosphere gets super energized. You get more cyclones. You get much colder climate, weather patterns in localized areas. So it's that weird shit in the middle that it's just extremes. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm against it. I know it's man-made. That I have no doubt. I'm not a climate change denier. It is happening because of our actions. But why stop it, really?
Well,
it won't kill us.
I'm not even sure if it's completely because of our actions. Our actions will no doubt have an influence in it, but I'm really not believing that it's because of it.
Oh, it is. We're just pumping too much carbon dioxide into that, and I think we've already passed the point of no return. Because Siberia is warming up, and there's so much trapped methane, which is an even more powerful greenhouse gas than carbon monoxide.
Yeah,
carbon dioxide.
Then it will go a lot faster all of a sudden.
And it's already happening. So we just have to hold our breaths.
The same is true for, I think, Central Park has a lake, which also has a lot of stuff at the bottom of the lake.
That's minuscule. That's nothing compared to Siberia. It's fucking half of Russia.
Yeah. Well, still enough to kill everyone.
And also Canada. Well, not kill. It just makes the temperature 2, 3, 4 degrees hotter.
Well, if the carbon in the air gets too high, we're going to die on that as well.
No. The concentration is just too small, man.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how much parts in the million we're at now, but it's parts in the million, not parts in the thousands.
True.
So yeah, parts in the thousands kill you, not parts in the million.
Yeah, but I'm assuming if you have, for example, a fast, apocalyptic is such a wrong word, but if you have a smart increase, then at first it will be high. I mean, it will get diluted over time, obviously. But if you're right on event 0, so to speak, I'm not sure if you already have it diluted at that very point in time.
carbon, mainly carbon, is stored naturally by weathering of rock.
Mhm.
It rains more, that accelerates the weathering of the rock, which means it'll trap more carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Except that's happening less at we're pumping more carbon dioxide than it's been stored. So it's really, really, really complex. So yeah, I know it's happening, and I know it is caused by us. There's no doubt. Since the Industrial Revolution, we know that we've been burning fossil fuels. That were the trees that were laid down in the Carboniferous period, hundreds of millions of years ago, before the dinosaurs even. So, just I want to say a thank you to Omegon. He just messaged me. Well, so that's not settled. I know. I'm not going to pretend that it is settled, and I won't. I'm not a climatologist, but
The thing is that
I know the science.
well, I know the science, but the science doesn't know all. That's the problem. There are some gaps in the science. Yes, we know that the global temperature is at a rise, which is absolutely undisputable. The world's temperature is rising. Yes, we know carbon has a large part to do with that. Yes, partly because of humanity. But in all fairness, if a volcano burps, that roughly produces as much carbon as the humans do in a year. So there is more going on. There is way more going on, and we're just focusing.
There hasn't been a real major. Yeah, there hasn't been a major eruption in a little while.
Well, a few years ago in Iceland.
Yeah, and that caused a temperature drop for a year.
Well, it drops the temperature at first because of the ash. But after that,
sulfur dioxide.
Yeah, but after that, the carbon, which also is released, starts creating, how do you call it, a raise in temperature again. We saw the same.
The natural cycles have been noted up until the Industrial Revolution. We have them.
Yeah.
And we have added to those cycles. That's
definitely.
That's the crux. Now it's our core. If we take away our part, the natural cycles would be natural cycles. But it's because it's man-made, we are reinforcing those. That's why it's anthropomorphic.
I'm not really sure if I would call it man-made, though. I mean, yes, man has influence in it, but
man reinforced.
Reinforced.
Yeah, man-made, no, but man.
Man reinforced, definitely.
Yeah. Yes.
But at the same time, we still don't understand how we are influencing it all. I mean, we know the carbon.
It's easy.
But that's only part of it.
There's everything else. We using fossil fuels. That's the crux of the matter. If we use nuclear, we wouldn't have this problem.
Well, we wouldn't have as much.
But the fucking Greens, because the only problem with nuclear is storing the spent radioactive waste. It doesn't produce any emissions.
No,
apart from steam.
Apart from steam.
But no, the 70s ecological movement. Oh, nuclear is bad. Okay, let's make then coal and gas and plants and that.
Yeah. Well,
and now, shit.
It's a shame though, because there are plenty of alternative green energy sources out there.
Of course there are. You put up windmills. Oh, that's crap. You're killing all the birds. You're destroying the environment.
Yeah, this is the same for solar steam power, by the way. There is solar steam power, and people are not really using it. But, for example, Spain has a few. There are a few in America. But would you imagine if we put an area of land the size of what's a big city? Name a big city. An area of land that size in the Sahara with steam-powered solar plants. that would, and I'm not talking about solar collectors because they're fun, they're useful. No, steam powered. So you have solar mirrors heating up water. That water creates steam. Fucking hell! If they have 3 days no sun, the steam would still be working because it gets so intensely hot.
I only see one problem. I only see one problem with that. That's correct, yes, but I only see one small problem. The Sahara has no water.
Wait, we can't bring it there?
You'd have to pump it in.
Yeah, that's no problem.
But then, then yes, that's a good point.
Because the water in a steam engine, no, I have to say that right. The water in a steam engine creating energy can be closed. You can capture the condense as well. So you can make it into, how do you call it? A circuit. So you don't let the steam escape, you capture it. You let it condense, and you let it return.
No, I know how it works. Yeah, I know how it works.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
you can use it in a closed circuit. Yeah, a closed circuit.
Yeah, closed circuit.
Closed circuit.
We can do stuff like that, but
it'll never be built in the Sahara because of geopolitical problems.
Oh, true. That's true. But I mean, Spain has Spain has a few. Spain has a few, but Spain, it has the same problem as windmills have because, well, of course, all the solar beams are redirected by mirrors to the tower, which means that anything caught in those solar beams
will be
dead. I mean, talk about a death ray. So it's bad for the birds. Yeah, trust me, the birds will know not to go there. But yeah, so that's the thing, though. I mean, the main thing that's stopping green evolution of energy is green people.
Green people, exactly. Nuclear now should be the ultimate, though, because we've developed it well enough for it to be safe.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't even have to go to nuclear anymore. There is, I think, thorium, which is basically the same but even safer.
Yeah, thorium. Yeah, it's not as efficiently, but yeah, exactly. It's still radioactive, but not as super highly concentrated radiation.
Oh.
And but yeah.
But yeah, that's the stupidity
the green
politics.
No, we can't. It looks like the environmentalists don't want energy at all.
Yeah. Well, they don't want you to have energy. They still need it.
that's the best. That's exactly right. Yes,
they still need it. They still want it. It's a bit double. I know. I'm sorry. Can you imagine? I started my YouTube channel back in the days because I wanted to address stuff like this, and I still haven't made the first video I wanted to make. I have all the stuff laying around.
Well, we've talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really should.
So.
Yeah, I really should focus on that from time to time because SJWs and feminism and whatnot, everything has been said. It's still true, but everything has been said.
Yeah, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm taking over your stream now. My bad.
No, you're not. I think my stream is basically a celebration, a piss-up. Good thing I have some bourbon next to me here. Some Jim Beam.
So that's what a piss-up is? I was kind of wondering because I was like, piss up a rope or a tree or like, what are we talking about? I've never heard that term, so it's just interesting.
A piss-up, that's the Australian way of saying drinking thingy bobber. Let's see if we can get the camera working. Is it working? There we go. That's what I'm drinking. The Jim Beam, Kentucky bourbon. It's fucking awesome. It really is.
Cheers.
But I can't drink too much because tomorrow I gotta work and shite. So yeah, if any in the chat want something more archaeologically answered, I should have made this. All my guests had to have a really good question to ask me on archaeology, preferably Paleolithic archaeology, not Neolithic. I can go there, but I prefer
You're gonna have to educate yourself on archaeology in the Americas.
I know the basics because I had to do them. I know a little bit about the Pueblos. I know a little bit about the Aztecs, the Tolmecs, the Incas, the Mayans, the pre-Mayans, and 100 of other pre-Columbian civilizations that occupied the Americas. I know that recently they pushed back possibly the first Americans by about 5,000 years, going through three waves. One through Beringia, the landmass that separated Siberia with Alaska, one along the coast, and one possibly more direct way through the islands of the Aleutians and into the corridor that was then still, even though the ice age, the glacial maximum was happening, was at its most high, and the corridor of Vancouver Island and into Seattle and Washington, etc. So I know that part. Basically, Rudolph Wiggins, which is the most southern of the peoples of the Americas, they have been there for about 10,000 years. So it's not too bad. But that's it. I only know the basics of the America's archaeology. Because I had to pick a field. Mum, I had to pick a specialization, and I chose specialization Europe because I was thinking of always coming back and had the basis of European archaeology. So that's why I don't know as much of Egyptology, for example. I don't know much about the Eastern Asian archaeology. I had to know Australian archaeology because it was compulsory, the Aborigines in that. But my main strength is is European archaeology.
That's something you need to educate yourself on the Americas, because it's actually really, really interesting, especially because anybody was even over here for a really long time. And then when they discovered them, that's when they started to pay any attention at all. But we don't really know that much about how people lived over in the Americas because they went without a system of writing for so long.
Well, the Incas had a way of tallying and communicating almost like a letter system using knots.
Mm-hmm.
And the Incas built one of the most complex ancient road systems that were not designed for cars, but they were designed for runners and horses, or runners, not horses, runners. And
but they didn't really have a wheel, did they?
No, they didn't have the wheel, but so their roads were not for wheels. But they could cover their empire from one end to the other in 3 days. And it's from northern Ecuador to about Chile. That's how big the Inca Empire was.
Yeah.
And considering they had mountains of 6,000 meters, 7,000 meters, and there's an outpost there, and they covered them all with roads.
Really?
So yeah, they did. Yeah.
I'm just very interested.
Sargon was surprised when I told him that. He didn't know that.
But
I didn't know that
know
either.
some.
But isn't this true for most huge cultures, that they started creating roads or ways to intersect within their country?
Oh, not really. No. Look at the Aztecs in the north, in Mexico. They didn't have a road system.
Yeah,
their communication
the Aztecs
was a bit.
But the Aztec wasn't really an empire. It was more a group of tribal.
Yes, it was.
It was big, but it's not like the Incas were big. The Incas were really one empire. But within the Aztec, you still had cities vying for power with each other.
Oh no! When Cortez conquered the Aztecs, he used disgruntled, recently conquered peoples as his allies. apart from the fear factor of having horses, because the Americans had never seen horses. Horses died out at the end of the last glacial maximum, so the Americans did not know about horses. And if you see a person sitting on a horse, he was a monster. So apart from that and the guns, they used allies that were recently conquered. Same with the Incas. That's how Pizarro did the same thing in the Inca in South America. The old divide and conquer. So no, the Aztecs were an empire. They subjugated other groups.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to say it differently, because yeah, they were an empire, but they weren't an empire in the way that the Incas were, or that the Roman Empire was. They were more an empire like, how can I, basically an empire of tribes.
But they had a central government.
They had a central.
Yeah,
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right.
That subjugated all the outlying tribes and outlying ethnic groups.
No, I understand what you mean, and I can't find the right words to. So I guess I'm wrong.
But and they didn't have roads. Neither did let's see who else didn't have roads. The Egyptians didn't have roads. They had their small empire. Well, they had their small civilization. The Sumerians.
They didn't have roads? How did they get around and shit? Like, how did they move stuff? I'm confused by this.
Egypt's quite flat, actually. It's desertic, so you don't really need
aware
roads.
Of that.
Yeah. If you look at Roman Empire, it has a complex road systems because you have to climb mountains, go into valleys, etc. While Egypt and most of the Middle East, except for the area of Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, which is mountainous, the rest of it is quite flat. You just don't step over nothing and just go straight, dead reckoning, basically. Over time, yes, they do become roads, but not deliberate roads, not paved roads, delineated with stopping, like the Incas and the Romans did, where you have a certain distance. You have exchanged either horses in the Romans or people in the Incas, where you swapped the message, and he'd run along. The one was rested, and that's what I mean about a road system. A deliberate, complexly created, managed, maintained road system.
They just had like sort of paths and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Just informal type paths that were created by the continuous use.
Which is also something.
I was just like, wait, they had to have something. They had carts and shit. Like they had to have some way to move this stuff. Okay, so they just weren't like formal roads. They were just paths. Okay.
Until Rome created its road system, it was very difficult to travel. The trading was basically mules, possibly.
Yeah, and it would have
taken
city to city, village to village.
Village, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Romans in Europe, at least, the Romans were the first to bring roads basically that wouldn't go to a city. They would go past cities so that you have how do you call them? That a road would split off towards a city, but the main road would still go straight ahead.
Like highways, like our modern highways.
Like modern highways, because everyone thinks Germany was the one that invented modern highways, but in all fairness, they just improved upon the Roman idea.
Yeah. And there's still some roads that today that in Europe that they just paved over Roman roads.
Oh, definitely, yes. In the Netherlands, I can name several of them. Hell, one of them was completed only a few years ago. The road was an old Roman road, but throughout the years it's got overgrown and whatever. But a few years ago they paved it once again, so now it's, well, a few years. it's a few decades, but they are. It's an original road now, but it used to be in the same path. It is in the same path as the Roman road used to be, which is amazing.
Exactly.
Really.
Gani brought up a point, really good. Exactly. Egypt and many other civilizations would use water travel as their way of moving goods along. The Egyptians did that.
Yeah.
The peoples that lived in the Babylon, Assyrians, and that along the Tigris and Euphrates River. Mesopotamia, they used river. The Chinese used water transport. Who else?
Well,
I'm
just
trying
about
to think.
all cultures
Civilization.
used, nearly all cultures
well,
used water transport. The Romans created.
Well, the Romans created roads because they wanted interior.
But they're not the first one, though. I mean, if we look at China, used roadways. In Africa, there were certain tribes, not tribes, cultures that. What's the one from Ethiopia?
Nubians?
The Nubians were Sudan. They were not from Ethiopia.
Oh. Okay.
But he was known because he was so very, 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 very rich. I forgot his name.
The Ethiopians.
Yeah. But they also had a roadway system, not as extensive as the Romans did, but they did.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the Romans they invented it. No, they just perfected them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because
the Incas invented their road system because they had no one to copy, like the Americans. The Americas discovered independently agriculture.
Yeah.
And so did the Chinese, and the Chinese independently. They invented their agriculture. But yeah, the Chinese, the Romans didn't invent obviously the road system. They just made it super efficient and they perfected it. Like they perfected a lot of technology.
That is true. They did perfect the roads, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though, because the fact that they perfected roads. I mean, in the Netherlands we now have aqueducts, and we have aqueducts where boats actually go over the highway. And yes, we also have tunnels that go under it, but that's not the same thing. This is something that basically we are now building because of what the Romans have already taught us.
Yes,
which is amazing. And then there's still people out there that think that back in the old days people just didn't know.
Yeah, of course not. We still have trouble, like I said in last week's Stream Saga, we still have trouble copying or knowing how the Romans made concrete that sits under salt water.
Yeah, we still don't know though.
Well,
that's not really true.
Exactly.
We figured out a way to more or less replicate it by using what is it, plastics or oil.
Exactly. But they didn't use that, did they?
No, they didn't. It was a lot better.
And Romans, it was the Roman Empire. The Byzantians were the late Roman Empire. Hagia Sophia is earthquake-proof because it's flexible. They made the concrete flexible. We don't know how they did that.
Oh, indeed.
We know how they filled it in to become flexible, but the actual concrete, it's still slightly a mystery to us, the chemical composition.
It's not slightly a mystery to us. We still haven't a clue.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's okay that we don't know that.
No, yeah. Well, it's a shame that we don't know it. It would be nice if we could do it too.
I'm going to.
I think it's good that we don't know everything because it doesn't lock us into a particular way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't go, oh, this is for this purpose, and then because then if you discover something that goes against the common thinking, it's a lot to prove it, unless you can just say, this is what we think it is. I can't remember what it was. There was some kind of tool. I think it was like a hatchet or something, and they thought that it was used for like hunting or something. And it was they used it just for like stripping bark or something like that. But it took them like years and years to figure it out until they could test it. But I cannot remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it was. It looked like a tomahawk or something, but they thought they used it in hunting, but they only used it to like strip bark away from wood.
How is it called? I think it's called an adze. It's basically an axe, but the blade is
facing
not
square
straight, but it's facing square into it.
Yeah.
Is that the item you mean?
I don't think so. We know what an adze is.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, we do, but I'm not sure if that's what you mean.
I don't.
I know what an adze is, but
Yeah.
no, it was like a hatchet. But that was about it.
Hey, Carlos, long time no chat. Congrats on the 1,000 subs.
Thank
Hey,
you, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Little sore, but not too bad. Decided to go ride my bicycle to the liquor store the other day after I was already drinking. Wasn't the smartest idea.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what is an adze?
Oh, an adze is you know how a hatchet or an axe is perpendicular to the handle, or on the same plane.
Yeah.
An adze, you turn the blade on a. It's sort of like a hoe. Oh no, hoe.
No, it is a
that,
no.
that way.
It is
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's it, and use it to carve wood.
But that wasn't the item that Base Mama meant. I got it.
No, absolutely it was.
I'm just saying we were like locked into this as a hunting weapon for so long, and for them it took actually like chemical testing before they were like, oh, it has tree sap on it. Like it was that bad. But I can't remember what it was. I just remember that it was really, really hard to get people away from thinking that it was like for this one specific use, when it wasn't. It was just really hard to get people to think of these tools in a different way because they'd kind of decided what they were.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because this is something we came across with reenactment. Well, I call it reenactment. Most people call it reenactment, but some people call it what's the word? Experimental archaeology.
Yes, that's it.
Because we get the stuff, we know what it is because we're holding it. So what's the best way to use it? And then you first start looking at it from, okay, this is what I would do. And then someone else starts to think of stuff, and other people start to think of stuff. And then you start recognizing, oh, wait a second, I started doing this, but that, in retrospect, doesn't make sense. So then you learn a lot more about, well, both the culture and the item, to be honest. But
Yes,
this is what we talked about earlier. I mean, I remember, for example, we know that Viking dresses, women with Viking dresses have a pini. And pini is like a sort of an overdress. But we know that even poor women wore pinis because the amount we found. And it didn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but it's extra clothing. It's made to make you look nice. It doesn't make sense that poor women would have this as well. Until one of the group got pregnant. And she could carry the baby in it perfectly, without having to take off any of her clothes. And suddenly it made sense.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, people in that time weren't stupid. That we don't realize why they did things doesn't really mean that they didn't have a reason. So yeah, it's always fun to figure out. I can still remember that was that's like 10 years ago or something. The BBC did a thing, I think it was the BBC, that they rebuilt part of Stonehenge. And they couldn't figure out how it was done because, well, as far as we know, they didn't have A-frames. So they couldn't have done that. And then there is no way to hoist those huge blocks of stone on top of each other. So they couldn't figure it out. So they got some reenactors together and they just puzzled at it. And I won't say the answer came quickly, but all of a sudden, well, after a bunch of time, they figured out, you know what they did? They built earth mounts and then they got the stones up and either topped it over so that it would fall straight down so it would be standing, or put it on top of it. And then they dug away the earth.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
That's one of the...
so simplistic, but it makes sense. But we never thought of it.
Yes, you have to use Occam's razor in many of the things an archaeology or discovery. The simplest answer may be the correct one.
Yeah.
The same with the pyramids, how they built the pyramids. They
same thing.
Ramps
to
get the stones there.
Yeah, I still don't understand why people keep saying that they were built by slaves.
By aliens. And slaves, yeah. They were salaried. They paid them.
Paid them very well.
And beer, chickpeas were always, it was rationed and not rationed, it was part of their pay.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I'll be right back.
So
I need a fast moment.
No worries. About that thing that we were talking about, that what we don't know is good, and it shouldn't be filled up with speculations. Like we don't know how life started. It was God. Why don't they say the same about the Roman concrete? We don't know how it's made. Must have been God.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It just, why not? We don't know how Greek fire was made. Must be God.
Say it in Portuguese.
Or aliens. No, Portuguese. Or aliens.
It must have been God. It must have been God.
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
I don't know. I think that it was just the hollow earthers.
Possible. Yep.
Oh no.
I was actually
pissed,
watching,
man. I'm not pissed, man.
I was watching something the other day on the internet, but it was a History Channel documentary about London Underground and how they found a Roman amphitheater.
How?
So
that was really interesting because I didn't think Romans had conquered like that part of Europe.
Rome. Where did they found it?
London.
In England. London.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They built Hadrian's Wall dividing Scotland and northern England. So I think they did go to Londinium. So yes, Londinium. That's where London comes from.
Oh.
I did actually know that. That's because I binge watched the entire series of Rome. That's the only reason I knew that. And Spain was Iberia, wasn't it?
Yep. It had many different provinces. Like I come from Galicia. Then you have Lusitania to the south. You have Tarragona. Oh no, not Tarragona. They're the ones that come to mind at the moment. But yeah.
Great.
So Portucalis was later, much later. That was post Reconquista. That's nice base you have there, Raven.
Bass? Oh, there's a noise in the
Sounds like.
but that's not from me.
Is that might be me? Here, I'll mute.
How
Yeah, it was
rude.
like planes or something.
It sounded like an alien music.
Yeah. No, it was like planes. No, I wanted to play you a piece just on occasion of your 1,000 subs. It's by Claude Debussy. And it's called La Puerta del Vino. Can you hear that?
Am I the only one that can't hear him?
Yeah, he's a bit soft.
It's like super quiet, so I was just like, it's not me, right? It's not just me. Okay.
No, he's a bit soft. You're not the only one.
Who is soft?
You are.
Your
I'm not
voice,
soft.
yeah.
I'm hard.
Unplug your mic and plug it back in again.
No, you sound
I just have
soft.
to adjust the volume. Adjust the volume.
Oh, you should hear it.
Yeah, now we can. Better anyway.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I should put on the camera so you see that it's live. It's not some recording. This is just for you, Carlos.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Just hold on. There. Obviously, you don't want to see me, ugly old fucker with the big belly. You just want to see the piano. Right?
No, we want to see naked women, but...
Exactly.
Okay, kind of. Just go to RedTube.
What's RedTube?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how drunk I have to be able to play it.
That was nice.
Salute!
Grazie.
That is awesome. You
La
should,
Puerta del Vino.
you should record that so he can use it for his intro and outro. That would be awesome.
I can record it for you. It's Claude Debussy, but he has a Spanish. He sometimes writes these Spanish kind of tunes, and they sound very Spanish. I don't know.
Well, I'm not Spanish. So.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're Portuguese. I don't know. What do I know?
We were so much of cunts that Spain didn't want us anymore.
Well, it is weird considering that they are actually on the same peninsula, but yeah.
I think they're both well known for the fiery temperaments.
And well, it depends. Sort of southern Portugal is northern Portugal, not as much. Mm-hmm. Especially where I come from, it's more Celtic than.
Oh yeah, the Celts, yeah.
Yeah, than Iberians. Iberians were not Celts. They were a mystery, really.
Well, there were several tribes in Spain.
In Hispania, yeah. That was why.
In all fairness, a lot of them got murdered around 600 and 700.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
That wasn't
there
the
were a lot of
Languedoc,
battles.
was it? That wasn't the big killing of the Languedoc, the Troubadour and Jouvert. That was a different one.
Languedoc, that's France, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
I know.
that's France.
That's
No,
a different era, but there was also a lot of people who got killed. A whole culture was wiped out.
Yeah, well, basically, roughly the same thing happened in Spain with the incursion. Let's call it incursion of the what were they?
The Saracens.
No, yeah, the Saracens. Yeah,
Yeah.
they killed a lot of Spanish. Hell, that's the whole reason for the Reconquista and the how do you call the other one? You had the Reconquista and you had the Inquisition to cleanse out everything that wasn't Christian anymore, because that's what happened to them when they got more or less overtaken.
Well, yeah, the Spanish
Was that
were very.
Was that a
were
North
very
African
religious.
influence? Who were they, the Saracens, exactly?
The Saracens were Muslims from, let's say, Morocco,
North Africa. Yeah.
North Africa.
Yeah.
Big Carlos.
It's also a really important period in music, because we actually have there's one thing that we actually owe to this North African culture, and that's the violin, the string
guitar.
instruments.
String instruments, yep.
The stringed instruments, the ones that are played with a bow. That's actually a North African influence. So that is really interesting.
Okay.
What do you want to say, Fade?
I'm gonna actually have to get going here. I just really wanted to come on and congrat. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. It's been a while since
I
I've
might only
talked to
stay
you.
for another. I'll stay till midnight. Still half an hour to go. So.
All right. Well,
okay, man. Thank you for coming on. Yep.
not a problem. Thanks for having
cheers,
me.
brother. Cheers, mate.
See you
You
around,
too.
father.
See you for the
See you, Modwin. See you. And see you, Dave.
The Moors, which were basically the North Africans that conquered Hispania. It wasn't Spain. Hispania was the total Roman province of what is the Iberian Peninsula. Hispania. That's why the Spanish, when Spain reunited with the Kingdom of Leon, Kingdom of Aragon, and the Catalans, they named themselves Elizabeth, Isabella, and Ferdinand named the new country Hispania. And the Portuguese said, "Oh, you can't use that because that's the whole peninsula shit." Nah, the new one's called Iberia. So, and basically that's it. Why Spain's called Spain today.
Yeah. So I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure if people would have called it Iberian back then, though. I don't think so.
It was the Iberians were the biggest ethnic group when the Romans were here. When the Romans conquered us. They were the Iberians. If you go from more or less where Barcelona is until the west, to more or less where the Algarve is, that triangular thing. Anything to the east of that were the Iberians. In between were the Celtiberians, which were the Lusitanians, and where my area here were the Celtic peoples, including Asturias and so on. And we didn't really fight too badly. We saw the opportunity to get rich, the Celtic peoples. No, there's no major battles, but the Lusitanians there were. We had a famous leader. His name was Viriatus, and he was putting up such a struggle that the Romans did what Romans do. They got him, bribed people close to him, and they assassinated Viriatus. So, you know how the Romans are. Yeah, classical Roman. If you can't beat them, get him killed by mafia type style. So,
politicians.
and then we were conquered, we had we produced one or two. I'm talking about the whole of Iberia at this point. One or two Roman emperors. Trajan was one. I know that, and I can't think of another one.
Yeah,
Trajan was an Iberian. Yeah.
I'm just thinking because I'm not quite sure where I read it, but I thought I read that certain names that we now use were given, well, basically in the modern age. Same as the Byzantium Empire. They didn't call themselves Byzantiums.
They would call themselves Rome.
Yeah. We call them Byzantians.
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
I think
because to distinguish between Eastern and Western Rome,
Byzantina.
Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's amazing.
The
It's
city was
amazing that we can-
Constantinople,
Yeah, the city was Constantinople.
All right. That we
the
can
capital. Now it's Istanbul.
Istanbul, yes.
Istanbul.
It's kind of funny if you think of it. Since the start of Islam, within, let's say, 50 years, nearly all Christian countries in the Middle East were gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was all Muslim occupation, was it?
They were conquered, yeah. Byzantium was basically the one that hold out the longest, but they fell in
1488.
Yeah, something like
1488.
that. Eventually.
Too much attrition, because they were pressured from the west by the Western peoples, and they were pressured by the east.
Yeah.
By the Turks, basically, at this time.
The Seljuks, not Turks.
It wasn't even actual Arabs that were pressuring
no, but the last caliphate was
Byzantium
Arab
at this point in time is the Ottoman Empire, the Ottomans that came from the eastern plains and where possibly I think Iraq, Iran, that sort of areas. They weren't Persian, but they came down from the
I think they came from further. Wait, I'll look it up because I had a discussion on this not too long ago.
I think we can wrap it up.
It's a history lesson.
The Seljuks came from Azerbaijan, I think.
You're so low, Raven. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yes, I got it wrong. Thank you, Malefus. 1453. Yes, I was thinking. I'm shit at maths, man.
Is there a party going on in the background? Sounds like it.
And we're not even invited.
Yeah, what is that?
That might be me.
Mama, why?
I'm watching another stream based.
Possibly
I'm
a
watching
novella.
two streams, right? I have to regulate a chat. I have to regulate another chat. So
where?
Talking to you while I am wielding the wrench of justice in another chat.
Okay, tell us. Tell us where you are. On which chat?
I'm in Andy Worski's chat.
Andy Worski. Okay, well, can't compete.
It's
always interesting.
So there's like three of us that have wrenches, so I'm like, okay, they've got a wrench, I can leave. It's weird when people give you chat wrenches, you feel very responsible for making sure that people don't crap up their chat.
I'm
like
crap at
like,
wielding. I'm crap at
oh no, they do
power.
those like big blocks of like swastikas and shit.
Of course.
Oh
yeah. 1488, 1488, like yeah. So you have to like delete that stuff because it'll crap up the chat.
Base Mama, if I show up, give me a wrench and I'll help you. I'll tidy it up.
I can't give you a wrench on somebody else's chat, man.
Oh shit! Okay,
no,
I'll ask Andy.
Andy has
you can
to
ask
give
Andy
you.
to give me a wrench. Yeah.
So basically, the flat earthers aren't attacking today. It's the alt-right, the nationalists. Okay, so we're going to finish now. I think it's we've punished the viewers enough. I'm sorry, my friends. This was just really an impromptu stream. I won't even put any sources or what we talked in the beginning because it wasn't supposed to be. This was a celebratory on my part, and I am honored and privileged that you guys endured my chat and the guests that I had here. It's always more than a pleasure. It is an absolute honor to have you on. So you guys shill your channels, please.
You go first, Axel.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm Real Raven 2000. Come to my channel. We made a brilliant. Lana and I made a brilliant song about the vote tonight. Listen to it. It's a gorgeous track. And Bass Mama keeps telling me I'm too quiet. Am I still too quiet?
No, you're okay
Yes.
now.
No, you're right.
I think you're still too quiet, but
Oh fuck! And I have a really good microphone, and you always seem to use these shitty ones where there's no high frequencies coming through, and yet I'm too quiet.
Modwine?
Is that better now?
Oh, that's better.
That's very loud.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Modwine?
Hi there, I'm Modwayne Aileron. I do, well, basically, I'm a talking head. I mean, yes, please subscribe to me, make me bigger, come watch my stuff, let me know what you do or do not agree with me. Criticism is always more than welcome. But I have to admit, I like Carlos' stuff better because here you can actually learn something. I'm just a talking head.
I think, no. I'm going to argue this with you. There's a reason that Modwayne has like high profile subscribers, usually people who have their subscription, and that's because he's very interesting and we all like watching him. So he's like the super secret
I'm the best kept
we don't
secret
talk
of YouTube.
about. They're like, no, it's like you guys are because you have expertise and information. So like both of you guys are people that like the history nerds watch all the time because they're like, tell me more. You're like, you fill the niche. I don't know, because commentary channels, like, it's kind of boring talking about the same stuff, and you actually want to learn something or be entertained yourself. So you sort of, I've noticed it like with Kraut and stuff. His subscriptions are really eclectic and weird and just on a million different topics because you spend so much time on YouTube when you're like editing and all that stuff. You want to hear stuff that's either informative or entertaining. All three of you guys actually, Raven, you guys got to go check out the I'm gonna link it. Sorry, it's hilarious.
What is
and it needs to be shared all over the whole wide world.
What? Link it. Say what it is.
Hang on, I don't remember what you called it, and I don't want to mess it up. Because I peed my pants laughing. It was hilarious.
I find it amazing.
It was the Kyrgyzstan one. Oh, the butt crack was pretty funny too. But the I believe it was Shia LaBeouf on Frogwatch maybe, or I can't remember which one it was. But
jeez, you're all over the place, Based. Come on,
Butt crack was like my favorite one.
Get it together, Based. I mean, we did a song. We did a song Frogwatch on He Will Not Divide Us. But I'm currently I've worked with Deplorable Trumpster. Do you know him? He made a couple of viral ones on He Will Not Divide Us, and he asked us to do a Coldplay song. Viva la Vida. So he's just finishing that. So we should see that before the end of the week, and it's epic. It's totally epic. I put about 80 tracks of orchestral music together just to sound like Coldplay. While you're looking for that link,
I'm still linking the Frogwatch one in the chat because it's freaking hilarious.
It is.
Even if it's a month old, it still makes me laugh.
It's it was one of those cheap shots, It was just a matter of timing, but it has over 42K views. It's just completely blew up. I love it.
I had to laugh because it's just so damn funny.
It's Lana. She's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody subscribe to Lana Lacious. Everybody. I know there's only 14 people watching, but subscribe to Lana Lacious. She's criminally undersubscribed. She's only 300 subs. She just cracked the 300. But she's fucking awesome. She's so funny.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Best singer on YouTube.
I'm just gonna link cool videos. So the first one is gonna be the Frogwatch one. And then here is Modwayne's video on who's allowed to criticize this song. And that one's good too because, you have to talk about the criticism. And it's really hard to break that stuff down, I guess.
Well, thank you for
the
shilling
way
me.
that. Well, of course. I told you we like super secret watch you guys. I know. I happen to know a few big channels that are subscribed to all the three of you.
Oh, I didn't know we can share links in the live chat.
If you have,
gotta have a wrench.
wrench,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can.
Oh fuck! I didn't know that. Should have abused that.
Oh, Habib, he came on. Oh,
Hey,
Habib,
focus
you're late,
break.
man.
Hey, focus bead.
Focus beat.
I think I sent you.
Fucking hell, my bad. Sorry.
Oh man.
I think I sent you the
Congrats on
invite. I'm
1,000.
sure I sent you the invite.
I need to shill my general election song. It's so good. Wait, where the fuck is it? Super tough. Communism or censorship? Okay, I need to shill
Thank you,
that in the
Focus
chat.
Break, my friend. But you should have come on, man. I sent you the hangout invite. Habib is the most awesome foodie. One of the most awesome foodies I know. He makes me my mouth water every time he posts.
Habib is why I can't lose the last 12 pounds. Him and Rin together on Twitter, it's just food.
Exactly.
I just
Yeah, and
eat
Twitter
as well.
Oh, Focus Break was in Robin's stream. Well,
Yeah,
who
that's
would
cool, man.
prefer Robin's stream? That's, I don't know. I would always prefer Carlos' stream to Robin. Definitely.
Our Robin's okay
even-
sometimes.
With Robin.
Yeah,
Another-
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Very sometimes. I'd rather get pissed with you.
Okay, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I really don't know if I deserve
You do. We love
all
you.
this. It's it still hasn't sunk in, honestly. I did not expect this boom in 3 days. I was expecting to get 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers, say the end of the year, but that's put pressure on me because now I have to do my weekly. I'm gonna do my weekly only once a week because it gets me to pick the best articles once a week, and it puts pressure on me to find good stuff. And but I know next Monday is going to be extra special. The material was like a gift from Chaos, whatever, from Priapus, the god Priapus.
Oh, the guy who always has a stiffy, is it?
Yeah, he was the god of fertility or something, Roman god of fertility. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Who's that?
Focus.
That's me.
Oh,
Focus.
Habib.
Oh, man. Habib, we're not gonna until
Well, you don't even like. You're like, this guy is the best guy ever. You don't even recognize my voice. You're just like, who's this guy?
I recognize your voice. He didn't change.
Well, we can talk off air, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, guys. I'm
Yeah,
going off here.
I gotta get running too. So
Yeah.
sorry. My baby's over there crying. My daughter's keeping him quiet with cookies.
Nice talking to you, Based.
Okay.
Make another Euro-friendly stream next Friday, and I'll join as well.
Yep.
I'm gonna do my very best to you.
And
All right,
goodbye
I'll see
all.
you guys later.
And,
Thank you for having me on, Carlos.